What's up, everybody? Jed Johnson here from dieselcrew.com. Of course, you know they call me Napalm. I'm not going to be doing daily videos like this, but I felt moved to do one. My buddy Doug left a comment on my video, 150-pound dumbbell bench rep PR. And, of course, I'm doing 150-pound dumbbells. And he says, hold on, he says, I need to show this to my buddy that gets 140s handed to him by spotters. Napalm kicks up 150s with chains solo, brother. So I thought that was pretty funny, first off. So basically what he's talking about is what I understand to be called the Cadillac Spot. So the Cadillac Spot, if I'm gonna do bench press, I'm gonna lay down and get all situated, and then spotters are gonna hand me dumbbells in the arm extended position, and then you start with an eccentric. So, little story about that. There's this friend that I hadn't trained with for probably 5 years at least, and I go up and he's doing what he called military press, but it was actually like incline bench. And he said something about giving him the dumbbells, so I put him there. No, put it up higher. Well, okay. So then my set went, I went, then it was time for him. He's like, dude, you gotta get this dumbbell up. I'm like, what? He's like, you gotta work on your spotting. I'm like, we don't hand dumbbells to each other at the gym. We lift them ourselves. So apparently he's in the habit of getting his dumbbells handed to him. And I'm not just talking about here on seated military press, but like up to the top. It was a giant pain in the ass. I have done that before in a few cases. So, and I actually kind of conversed with Doug on this. My response was, here's the biggest thing, and I might have to do a video on this. I train alone a lot. Who's gonna hand me that shit when I'm alone? So like even in this video that he's commenting on, Evan was supposed to be here, so I would have a spot, but schedules changed, and I got to get my session in. So I ended up doing 150-pound dumbbells with chains on my wrists. And dude, there's no spot. So I don't have those. I know they have implements you can kind of hang on a barbell in a cage, put dumbbells there. I don't own those. And frankly, it seems kind of weird because like you'd either have to hang them so that you were kind of low or up here, and then you'd have to protract. So you're either like tricep lockout to get it off the hooks or protraction to get it off the hooks. And that doesn't seem optimal for me either. So in my mind, I'm just gonna roll the dumbbells back, get into position, be deliberate about it, and then press them out real good. So it's not like, I wouldn't suggest necessarily rolling back and then just getting it up there. I mean, you could do that. And you could certainly lock them here, roll back, and press out from here. But that's kind of hard when you got 150-pound dumbbells, dude. So, like, this is what I do. I get in a good chest posture. I get tight here. So my lats are already packed. My shoulders are already packed. And I roll back. And remember, these are 150-pound dumbbells, so the heads are like this big. So as I roll back, the dumbbell's only 2, 3, 4 inches away. As I roll, I just lean the heads into my chest. So I'm here in my pressing position. And I'm still tight. I try to stay tight. And then I press from here. So it's pretty darn safe. I feel pretty good about that. Now, there are some cases where we've done a handoff at the top. I'm not going to say we've never done it. So let's say someone's having trouble getting their PR dumbbell off their chest for 1 rep, or maybe it starts to look really ugly. Then maybe we'll start them at the top, and then they'll get that eccentric and get the stretch reflex. They'll be able to power it back up. And then you kind of build the base for that weight with that eccentric. And then even if they can't get it out of the hole for 1 rep, they might be able to get like 3 reps because of that eccentric. So, I mean, there's a place for it, but I wouldn't get dependent upon it. I think that's a really bad idea. This dude that I was lifting with in particular I know he has shoulder injuries that he deals with, shoulder issues. I feel that it's probably a better use of time to attack that injury and actually correct it rather than modify the exercise, because I don't know how he's ever going to train alone if he's got to start in the elevated position. Some other points. I get it, there's a time, place, justification for a handoff. Injuries is one. Like, for instance, there's been times for maybe flat bench or even an incline variation where my back's a little messed up. So taking them off the rack is tough. Taking them off the floor is even tougher. So in that case, kind of get into position. But I can, in the last 6 years, I can think of maybe once or twice that I've had to do that. Generally, in those cases, we'll just do a barbell bench or a football bar bench variation. So, I don't know. I would argue that one would be making a mistake by getting dependent on a handoff all the time. I mean, heck, dude, Luke comes down here and does his bench workouts. He does 1-arm bench. And the only time I've ever spotted him or done the Cadillac Spot is when he does inch dumbbell. So, like, to me, this is plain and simple the way I look at it. I understand that safety is a concern, and there probably is a bit more risk taking it out of the bottom from a dead stop. But if you load your tension here and get into position, if you load your tension here before you get into position, you should be able to retain a bunch of that tension when you're into position. And if you can't, then you need to get better at it. Manage your risk by getting better at the lift, not by creating a workaround automatically. Save that workaround for when you need it, when you're injured, when you need a boost with an eccentric, elastic loading, something like that. But otherwise, I'm just not a believer in the Cadillac Spot. So, one example where branching off what I just said about Luke, if I were to train the inch dumbbell bench, then I might have people hand them off to me. And then that way I can start with the eccentric. And I think those are the only times that I've done those in the last 6 years. So, all right, don't want to ramble. Give the video one of these. Be sure to subscribe. Questions in the comments below. Do you use the Cadillac Spot? Why? I would love to hear why. Maybe there's a better justification for it. I don't use it. I don't see a need, but maybe there's a need. So I'd love to hear why. God knows I don't have all the answers. All right, all the best in your training. Take care.